Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut for understanding what's really driving DeFi entertainment and sports. We're brought to you by Defiant, that's your on-chain lifestyle sports brand. And today, well, we're digging into some key news you've shared.
Absolutely. Yeah, you've given us a really interesting mix this time. We've got crypto regulations at the state level, NFT activity, global economics hitting digital assets, and even some sports business stuff. So our mission today is basically to unpack what really matters here.
Okay, let's jump right in then. DeFi and crypto first, always something happening there. Tennessee, looks like Governor Bill Lee is focused on strengthening the power grid.
That's right. And, reliable power is always good, but the specific angle here is they're explicitly trying to attract businesses that use a lot of power.
Like Bitcoin miners.
Exactly. Bitcoin mining, it's incredibly energy intensive, right? Needs loads of computation. So stable, affordable electricity, that's like number one on their checklist.
So it's not just keeping the lights on for everyone, it's a specific economic play. Could this make Tennessee a bigger mining hub?
It really could. You'd likely see some job creation, maybe setting up these facilities, maintaining them,
Yeah.
potentially more tax revenue too.
Hmm.
But it also brings up those questions about energy use, sustainability.
Yeah.
It's part of that whole conversation,
And the energy debate is always there.
always. And states are definitely competing for this kind of business.
Mhm.
So infrastructure, especially energy, is a huge selling point.
Okay, interesting. So moving from potential activity to actual activity, Ronin blockchain, NFTs there are apparently surging.
Yeah, seeing a lot of us. And what's interesting is the apparent driver seems to be OpenSea, the big NFT marketplace.
Okay.
There's like a direct link being drawn between activity, maybe better integration on OpenSea, and then boom, floor prices jumping on Ronin NFTs, trading volume way up.
And specific projects mentioned were Axie Infinity, which, has been around, but also Ronkaverse and Runiverse.
Right. Axie's the big established one there, tied heavily to gaming. The others are newer. But the point is, this surge seemingly linked to OpenSea. Why does it matter?
Yeah, what's the takeaway?
Well, it kind of highlights accessibility, right?
Yeah.
And network effects. When a massive platform like OpenSea shines a brighter spotlight or maybe integrates features better for specific chains' NFTs, it can just unlock a ton of activity. New users, more collectors pile in.
Especially with Ronin being so tied to gaming.
Exactly. This could be, a sign of that next step for blockchain gaming and NFTs really finding their utility. If the games are good and the NFTs actually do something meaningful within them, that could pull in a much broader audience. It might change how people see digital collectibles altogether.
Right, moving beyond just speculation. Okay, let's pivot slightly. Wider economic picture now. Donald Trump announced new tariffs, and that seemed to hit the crypto markets.
It definitely did. Yeah, these proposed tariffs, they're described as reciprocal, pretty wide-ranging. Baseline, 10% on imports, 25% on foreign cars, hitting loads of countries.
And that kind of news, global trade stuff, it creates jitters, right?
Sure. Lots of uncertainty in traditional markets, and it looks like that feeling just spilled right over into crypto.
And the numbers showed it. Bitcoin dropped.
Bitcoin fell about 2%, yeah. But some of the big altcoins, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, they saw even bigger drops, like 4%, 3-4%. The whole crypto market cap dipped by 5%.
Wow. And liquidations, too.
Yeah, that was significant. Over $500 million, $511 million in crypto futures liquidated in just 24 hours.
Ouch.
Yeah. Bitcoin futures took the biggest hit within that, about $180 million. It just shows how sensitive things are to these broader economic signals, especially with leverage involved. When the price moves against those borrowed bets, bam, automatic selling kicks in, pushes prices down more.
And the stock market fell, too, right? S&P 500 down.
Right, down 3.7%. So it wasn't just crypto. It points to that classic risk-off mood. When big economic uncertainty hits, investors tend to pull back from things they see as riskier.
And crypto is still, for many, in that riskier category.
Exactly. So even though it's decentralized tech, the market for it is still plugged into these wider macro trends and investor sentiment. It doesn't exist in a bubble.
Definitely not. Okay, so flipping back to the state level again. West Virginia. Lawmakers there are thinking about putting state money into Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's a pretty bold proposal.
Yeah.
A bill allowing the state treasurer to invest up to 10% of certain state funds, not day-to-day cash, but things like the pension fund, into Bitcoin, stablecoins, and also precious metals.
And the reasoning. One state senator, Chris Rose, talked about state sovereignty.
Right, yeah. He framed it explicitly as a move towards financial independence for the state, and specifically mentioned it as being potentially separate from a future Federal Central Bank Digital Currency, a CBDC.
So seeing Bitcoin as an alternative, a decentralized option.
Seems to be the idea, yeah.
Yeah.
A way to diversify away from federally controlled monetary policy, maybe? It's a strong philosophical position.
The bill does have some limits, though, like a minimum market cap for assets.
It does. Requires a $750 million market cap average over the last year, which currently only Bitcoin meets among digital assets. So it suggests starting cautiously with the biggest, most established one.
But still, investing public pension funds in Bitcoin,
Mm-hmm.
there must be pushback, volatility concerns.
Oh, absolutely. Skepticism was mentioned, mainly focused on that price volatility, which is a totally fair point when you're managing public money. It's a known risk.
But it's not just West Virginia, right? You mentioned this is part of a bigger trend.
It seems to be. Senator Rose himself pointed out the governor's earlier interest in making the state crypto-friendly, and reportedly something like 47 similar bills have popped up in 26 states, some making actual progress in places like Arizona, Oklahoma, Texas.
Wow, okay. So nearly half the states are at least talking about state Bitcoin reserves.
Seems that way. For the people pushing these bills, it looks like it's partly belief in Bitcoin as a strong long-term investment, but also very much tied to that idea of financial freedom, independence from federal monetary levers. It's quite a statement about the future they envision.
Got it. Okay, let's shift gears completely now. Sports and entertainment. Lionel Messi, still a huge deal, obviously, and impacting the Apple TV MLS streaming deal.
Yeah, it's pretty clear that Apple's massive bet on MLS streaming relies heavily on Messi's just incredible global star power. They're banking on him drawing in a much, much wider audience than MLS might typically attract internationally.
So subscribers, basically. They need Messi to drive subs.
Exactly. And it raises this really interesting question, is this the blueprint now for sports streaming, relying on these individual megawatt global icons to anchor a whole league's streaming package?
That's a big bet on one person, isn't it?
It is. It shows the kind of leverage these truly global superstar athletes have.
Yeah.
Messi's impact isn't just on the field. It's got massive economic ripple effects for the league, for Apple TV. It could influence how other leagues approach media deals, trying to capture that global fan base tied to specific stars.
Makes you wonder if it's sustainable, or if Messi is just a unique case.
That's the key question, yeah. Is he a one-off, a generational talent whose gravity is unique, or a sign of things to come?
So wrapping things up then, we've covered state crypto ambitions, NFT gaming booms, global trade jitters hitting markets, and superstar athletes driving media deals. What's the big picture connection for you here?
I think it's that constant interplay, isn't it, between decentralization states wanting Bitcoin autonomy, NFTs on blockchains, and these powerful centralized forces, whether it's global economic policy affecting crypto prices or one single athlete's gravity shaping a media landscape.
Yeah, the decentralized promise bumping up against centralized reality.
Exactly. And it makes you think, right? If more states do start holding Bitcoin, does that change Bitcoin itself? Does it become more stable, maybe?
Yeah.
Or just more tied to the traditional system it was supposed to be separate from?
Good question. Or, if NFT gaming really takes off, does that just normalize digital assets for everyone, making them less niche?
Could definitely happen. Wider adoption through gaming could fundamentally shift perception. It's all connected. The lines between finance, tech, entertainment, they keep blurring.
Definitely a lot to keep an eye on. Hopefully, this deep dive gave everyone some clarity, maybe some things to chew on. Think about how that digitalization trend continues to weave everything together. And, the power of individuals, whether politicians or athletes, to really steer the ship. Keep thinking critically. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.